So you're saying if the situation with Peng Shuai hasn't been resolved and in timely fashion, then our athletes shouldn't go as well?
Well, I think that's right, Peter, but I'd say it's just all sports. It should be like the South African situation here. China's not very far from that situation in terms of their human rights abuses, in terms of their continuing contempt to anyone who raises these issues. And as I say here, an issue that directly goes to sport and the treatment of sports people within China has to raise the question of whether we should be engaging in sporting activities with such a government.
When it comes to a diplomatic boycott, what does it actually achieve?
Well, look, it is a statement, but as I say, I think we should consider going beyond it because, of course, the Games will still occur. The Chinese government, we know, will seek to use the Games as a way to legitimise their criminal behaviour, their anti-human rights conduct. You've got to raise questions about to what extent the Chinese athletes themselves will be clean in something that is occurring in China. We've seen that in other countries like Russia before in the past. Will they comply with anti-doping regulations? There's all these questions. And a diplomatic boycott, yes, it's a statement, a strong statement.
Yeah, but that's all it is. It's not going to disrupt.
Situation
it's not really going to disrupt much, is it? A diplomatic boycott.
No, and I don't. I mean, you wouldn't want to take the decision lightly to cut off all sporting activities with China, because I do feel, of course, for the athletes who have been preparing for years for an event like this that only comes around every 4 years. But of course, sometimes there comes a point when issues such as the treatment of innocent people in China, like Peng Shuai, becomes more important than sport itself. And I think we're getting close to that point unless China can do more to assuage the concerns around the world about their treatment of Peng Shuai.
Okay, so many issues this morning, such little time. Matt Canavan, I do want to ask you about Labor's climate targets. I mean, you don't support the government's climate targets, but I've got to ask you anyway what your thoughts on Labor's climate targets are, and in particular its modelling that suggests that electricity will be even cheaper. Yeah,
look, well, I think net zero by 2050 is the wrong idea, but I certainly think cutting our emissions by 43% by 2030 is an even worse idea. And I'm here in the Hunter at the moment in Newcastle, and there's a lot of concern here about what the impact of this policy will be. The Labor Party have compiled a hit list of 215 businesses that they will tax to reach their 43% reduction in just 9 years. The Hunter region is one of those areas that will be hit the hardest with 16 businesses on that 215 list. It's the fourth most of any electorate in the country. And these are parts of the country like the Hunter that are making the welfare nation. They create the income that allows us to respond to things like the coronavirus. We shouldn't be trying to kill that goose that lays these golden eggs. And look, on this modelling, it's totally fantastical, and Labor Party's numbers have been exposed to just not adding up, because what they've done apparently is say, according to a respected economist this morning in the Australian Financial Review, what Labor's done is their modelling has shown a 26% reduction in wholesale power prices, and they've said, well, that means there'll be a 26% reduction in retail power prices. The problem, of course, is the wholesale power cost only makes up about a third of the retail costs. So it is like saying that, well, because flour prices have gone down, your bread prices will go down by the same amount. No, it doesn't. Flour is just one input into the cost of bread, and likewise here, the electricity, the wholesale electricity generation price is only one input to what you pay in your household, and this is just a basic fail for maths. Lots of kids are getting their report cards around the country this week, and Chris Bowen and Anthony Albanese have got a big F for fail for their climate modelling.